My wife's a clean freak. She likes everything in the house clean, and she's taken over the yard too. So she likes the yard all neat and clean, and that's to include the garden. And right now the garden is kind of on its last leg. This thing was a catnip bush. You could see it's about chest high, and it's all dead right now. She wants me to pull that out. That might be like pulling a shrub. And she says the tomatoes are done too. I still see some tomatoes on there. I'm not too sure. Of course, I see a bunch of rotten ones on the ground too, but hard telling. Let's take a look and see if there's anything here worth salvaging. There's a tomato right here, and yeah, see, you might get a few slices out of that, but I'm not too sure. And then you got a lot of green ones still on there. The tomatoes are probably about done. Probably about had it. The sunny sunflowers are done. You can see she's already pulled most of those out and pitched them. So I got to get all those tomato baskets out too, which means I got to get the pruners, because you're not going to pull those out of there. Oh, the way those vines are all twisted around there. So that's a big job. And being that I just got home from work and had dinner, the sun's going down over here. I don't know. There's the catnip bush out of the ground, ready to go. And you know, they say these things spread. Well, look at here. I'm going to show you something. Catnip, 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 catnip. Of course, I'll rototill it all under, but yeah, it'll take over. It'll take over the garden. It smells kind of minty. Catnip has a minty smell to it. So let's get rid of that. Let's throw that over in the brush pile and carry on. Oh, look at these mushrooms here. Beautiful mushrooms in the yard growing on this stump. That's pretty cool. You know, it's kind of odd. The sky over there is like black. I mean, it looks like a thunderstorm. But the sun's setting nicely over here in the west. So I don't know where that came from over there. Kind of ominous sky. Speaking of ominous, let's talk about politics. Got a big election coming up. And we've got a couple candidates. I'm not going to tell you who my choice is. And you know, I find it kind of strange almost how people will attach themselves to a candidate. And there's nothing wrong with that. But here's the thing, they'll get super defensive, you know, when you try to tell them, well, I'm voting for so-and-so, and your candidate says this, and your candidate says that, and people get angry. I'm not into that. You know, it's my business who I vote for, and truth be known, not even sure if it matters. Why do I say that? I don't know, the state of this country, the state that it's in right now. We have people all in an uproar over all kinds of different issues. And I mean, you see people rioting in the streets trying to prove themselves, and yet nothing ever comes of it. You know, people die. They run around picketing. What good is it? What does it do? What are they proving? Are they really getting a message out there? Are they really making a stand? I don't get that either. I mean, I get it. You have to complain when things aren't right, but does all this complaining do any good? Is there anybody really taking any action? So, you know, we have two candidates on the board for the president, and we looked at each one of them carefully, and I think most of us agree that there's no superhero here. And I don't think that it would be pretty rare that there would even be one that might even be that would even fit into that category somewhere, someplace. Oh, I see I got a big tree that fell down back here on the back of my property. It knocked a couple other trees down. They're leaning into this tree. More work. Anyway, back to the politics. So, out of these two, are either one of them going to be our hero? Are they going to bail us out of this mess? I highly doubt it. And to be absolutely honest with you, I don't even think that the president is running the country. I think it's a little deeper than that. I think, you know, we watch these odd TV shows, and it's funny because, you know, a lot of them have all these twisted government plots and everything. I wouldn't be too surprised if that isn't absolutely real. You know, we'll never know. But behind the scenes, yeah, just look at, you know, a good example. I think people are so blind to this, you know. Most of the information we get is from the media. And most recently I saw that there was a newspaper in Arizona that was backing one of the candidates. How do you think they came about that? I think there was some strings pulled, and I'm not sure how that happened, but you know, this government thing is pretty strong, and it weighs out pretty heavily. So there's people behind the scenes. Money talks, you know, and there's huge amounts of money. There's perks, you know, that are dealt out. So, you know, it's all part of this game that's played. We watch things on TV, we hear things on the radio, they tell us this candidate did this candidate did this, and a lot of it is twisted, fabricated, blown out of proportion, not really true. They make one to look to look like a clown, they make the other one to look like a crooked thief, and is it really that bad? You know, I think what we're hearing is just twisted media, because we really don't know who the candidates are. I've never met them. I've never walked with them. I've never talked with them. They've never ate dinner with me in my home. I don't know what kind of people they really are. I'm just getting a picture that's painted by somebody else. And take it, okay, say if I'm trying to persuade you about something, yeah, it's going to be biased to my opinion. And it may not be exactly true. So that's what we're getting. You know, and we can listen to both sides, but even at that, the sides are twisted. Each one of them, both sides are twisted. So I think the country's in a downward spiral. I think we're going the wrong direction. We've got all these different cultures. We've got terrorists that want to destroy Americans. Our Constitution is twisted. More and more laws and rules coming up. We're losing all of our freedoms. And it's just not the same place that we know from, you know, many, many years ago. And it continues to roll downhill. I don't see it getting any better. The history of any great empire is that they failed. Every one of them through history has failed. And I don't think we are immune to that either. I think our great country will eventually crumble. And how that happens and when it happens, I'm not sure, but it's coming. It's coming. What are the reasons for it? I don't know. You know, as a Christian guy, I like to think that it's godlessness, and it very well could be, you know, that there's something to be said for that. We see these prophecies coming about. What's a prophecy? Well, they're things that people told us were going to happen many thousands of years ago, and now we actually see them happening. So, you know, prophets are real, and through history, prophets have really told the future and been very accurate about it. And not just all scriptural or biblical either. I mean, American Indians, Tecumseh, and even Indians before him were great prophets and told of things to come, and they actually took place. So, you know, we see all this stuff happening, and it's not all good. And none of these candidates are going to be our savior. I can guarantee you that. It doesn't matter which one we get. It's not going to change things. I'm not sure what will at this point. So, you know, I don't know who you're voting for. I don't really care. You can argue about it. You can try to convince me, you know, that your character is better than the one that I have chosen. You can put signs out in your yard. But is it going to change anything? Sadly, I think not. Well, that's the grim news for today. Monday. Yeah, you got to hear some lousy news on Monday, because that's just the way Mondays go. It's a short week for me. V and I are going to go camping again. There's something new. We've been camping almost every weekend, and we're just having the time of our lives. But we're going to a place north, up along the North Shore, Lake Erie. It'll be west of here, about a 2-hour drive to Maumee Bay. Never been there. It's up near Sandusky, Cedar Point area. And I heard it's very beautiful. It's supposed to be a very nice park. So we're going to check that out and see what that's all about. Until next time, ride hard, die free.